Hi there. Hi, everybody. I hope that you're doing well. I'm not feeling the best today, but I really wanted to come in and do this for you guys. I think it's super important that you have an opportunity in this mastermind to be able to ask about Tailwind and all things Pinterest and all that good stuff. So anybody that's available to hop on, I'm really excited to see you and to help in any way I can. I am going to go ahead and share my desktop with Tailwind, and I'm just going to pop through there. So if I have, I'm just going to pop through there and show you just a couple things that I think is really cool. And then if you have questions, great. And then if not, we'll dive in deeper another day. Remember, because I was in the hospital, even though I was posting stuff, I felt like I wasn't able to show you as much as I wanted to show you or as much as I had planned. So February is now February and March for just the same price as a 1-month mastermind. And I'm really excited because I'm going to be doing a mastermind on Tailwind. So you guys are kind of getting a kind of the beta version of what that's going to be, but then it's going to be completely bigger. It's going to have a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to be diving deep into Instagram, into how to post on Facebook, into how to post on Pinterest, how to use the analytics to really tell you more about what you're posting and how you can post better. And then doing hot seats with everyone that's in the mastermind so that we can go over your specific Tailwind and how I think that you could be using it better to get your clients and to get your clients to go to your website and to hire you. Bottom line, to get clients, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and share Bear. Let's see. I want to go to Tailwind. So let's see if this shares to Tailwind. No, hold on 1 second. I got to get back over. Darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it. Let me try one more time. Share, and you'll probably hear my dogs snoring in the background because they're really good at that. Okay, so let's share. So we're here. Yay. We're here in Instagram and it's empty. I haven't done anything for a couple days. I've been really not feeling so hot. But I want to go ahead and show you a couple things in here and how you can use it and things like that. So first, let's go ahead and go over this, this area over here, the menu, if you will. It is tremendously helpful. If you click on these 3 lines, it'll open up so that you can actually read what these mean. A lot of people don't know that, and I find that to be really helpful because we're in a hurry. We want to know how to do things and get it done. So let's start with weekly summary, and this is on Pinterest. And you know it's on Pinterest because you see the little P right in this corner here. And if you want to switch over to your Instagram, then you'll notice it's Instagram in here. So today we're going to go ahead and look more about Pinterest because I think that will be interesting to look at. So we're going to go on to weekly summary, which is the first thing that I like to look at. And this is kind of your dashboard or overview, and it's always set to the last week. Now, when you do reports, you can go ahead and dive deeper to see like by a month or whatever, that kind of information. But it will always show you the last 7 days when you first come in here. So I had 195 repins this week, which for my Pinterest with regards to, now remember, these analytics are for things I've pinned through Tailwind. So these are everything I've done through Tailwind and what analytics on for those. A lot of people get confused and think this is for Pinterest as a whole, and that's not accurate. If you want to find out Pinterest as a whole, you want to go to Pinterest and look in those analytics, okay? So this is just on the work that you're doing through Tailwind. So Tailwind, you can see right here, I'm up 33 versus the average, which is great. Last week was 118. So I have 14,900 total since I've been using Tailwind. And here it says, I mean, it really kind of walks you through step by step to know exactly what you're looking at. This says see more repinned pins or see the most repinned pins. So let's click on that. and wait for it to open up. I think it's thinking. Again, it usually will filter by 7 days, but let's wait. It's taking its sweet time right now. And actually, so this filter date is for May through May of last year. It might be like this because I was looking at something specific, but let's look at like, I like to look month to month. I find that's the best way to look at analytics. So that's what we're going to do today. So I just clicking over here to February 1st. And then I'm going to click up here and I'm going to go to February 28th. And that way I have a whole month view. You really want to look at it as at a month view. Okay. So here I have 2 repins of this in that 1 month. No comments. This one had 2 repins. This one had 1 repin. This one had 1 repin. The cool thing is, you can see under the pin area, so that would be in this area, under the pin area, you can see this was from my website. This was from Instagram. This is from Paperly, which is a newspaper that I do for my weddings. That's another thing I'll talk about in Women Who Execute. This is from my website. This is from Belle the magazine. And then this one's from Junebug magazine, etc. I do pin magazine information all the time for my brides because they have up and coming really cool things. And I think it's important to have people, let me see if I wanted to see. Hello, Emma. Sorry, I didn't have it to see if people jumped on. I apologize. And again, remember, this is slow, so very slow. So if you already jumped on and I didn't see you yet, I apologize in advance. But anyway, so yeah, so these are from other places, right? Now, the cool thing about this is this was obviously a good one because it got 2 repins and it's from my website, right? So I want to reschedule this pin. Now, this was pinned in February. So when I reschedule it, I typically go to schedule. Oops, sorry about that. I click on the date and I pick a time to schedule it. So I'm going to pick April 1st and then click the schedule button. I don't know why this isn't turning off. Thank you. Okay, then I'll click the schedule button. So I like to reschedule them a month out. You don't want to schedule them too often because people get bored. I would get bored. I don't want to see things like constantly like that. So then you can add to tribes. Tribes again. So the difference, I had a good question and I'm going to have to post this in this group because I think it was really good to know. The difference between groups, shared groups, and tribes. Groups are on Pinterest. They're groups that are like-minded individuals, for me on this page, wedding photographers or the wedding industry, and they all pool together and add stuff onto that group board and share stuff between them so you can all get everyone moves people forward. Tribes are the same thing. They're kind of group boards, but through Tailwind. So tribes are only in Tailwind, group boards are in Pinterest. So just to give you that information. This is Smart Loop. That's another option in the paid version where you can loop it so often. I think I already have it looped, so let's look. Active loop. So I've got 113 loops. And what that means is every month I'm looping another piece of content. And so I'll probably put that in I'm gonna probably put that in my wedding one, and it'll pin to my wedding page. You can change and add whatever board you want. This is themes and colors, wedding themes and colors, because it shows the colors and some different pictures on there. So I find that's helpful, and inspiration, wedding inspiration. So a tip for you on adding things to multiple boards, it's helpful. I post everything that I have photographed on my Jen Vasquez photography board, and then other boards as well. But because of the way that Tailwind works, it drops them in there every now and then. So it won't post at the same time. So what you'll see when you look at your pins, if someone goes to your board and they're considering following you, and the first place they're dumped when they look at your board is your pins. It doesn't dump them into where your boards are, which is what I would prefer. It dumps people into where your pins are. And then your pins show like 8 of the same picture all at once. That's not a good thing. And that's why I love Tailwind, because I don't have to think about it. It kind of does it for me. So I'm going to add that to my loop. Again, this is on the paid version. And then you can also find similar content. So I'm clicking on the similar content because that was so popular. That means it's really a popular thing. So I don't see anything here that I would want to use. So I'm going to close it. But so this is just something to look at. I'm not going in super deep on anything right now, but I wanted to show you what it means. 49 domain pins. That means this week of my 195 repins, actually of all the pins that I pinned for the week, 49 of them were from my website. Yay and hallelujah, because I want that to be the case. I want my website to be showing up, right? As you can see, this was pinned all at once, which is not the greatest, but I'm okay with it on occasion, because what that was telling people about my post about a wedding shoot with puppies, chocolate lab puppies, which was really big and popular. And I pinned it like everywhere, and Instagram, Facebook, like I just threw it everywhere. And I'm okay with that on occasion because I want to get it out there. And I made this pin in Canva. Just has my name up here, Chocolate Lab Puppy. If you love chocolate Labradors, you'll love this wedding. Things that make people want to click. I mean, I'm sorry. You see 2 brides and like 3 chocolate labs. I personally would want to click because I adore chocolate labs. Not everybody will, but I know there's a lot of chocolate lab lovers out there. So I merged my 2 loves of labs and weddings and did a shoot so that I can have something to publicize. Anyway, okay, so 49 were my domain pins, which is up because normally it was 32 is my typical average. So that's good. Because do you know why? Let's ask, does anybody know why my domain pins were higher? Can anybody take a guess? I'm going to wait a couple seconds. I'll ask that question in just a second. If you want to pop it in the comments, I'm curious to know if you know why my domain pins have risen. Not because of what I've pinned on Tailwind, but because of what I've done in my business to help get information out there. So I'm going to go down and I'll come back to that. If you have an answer, put it in the comments. Okay, 16 followers. Let me scroll down here, which is up from 10 last week. Yay! So I got 6 more followers in 1 week, which is super exciting. That doesn't always happen. I'm starting to really, really ramp this up, and now I'm seeing that. So that's exciting. I have no recent comments. I never really get comments on my posts. I don't think that's a bad thing because I've been growing without having comments, but I also don't know what comments would do. So we might do a post in here to have everyone comment on someone's post to see what that does for everything. And then if you look over here on the right, it says most repinned boards. Now that's super important because there's two things to think about. If the most repinned boards is wedding themes and colors, which is pretty typical for me, wedding venues in California, which is great because that means I have a lot of local brides looking at it, and wedding vendors in the Bay Area. So wedding venues and wedding vendors in the Bay Area. So those were my most pinned boards. Now, if I pinned an exorbitant amount of wedding themes and colors last week, then that would make sense of why that's the most repinned board. So I wouldn't get super excited. But because I have hundreds and hundreds of pins in there, that doesn't always mean anything because I mix my pins up, which I'll show you in just a second. So it's always different stuff. Now, if you have anything up here that says 98%, complete, well, mine says 98, but it's complete. I've looked. But if yours says anything like, oh, actually it doesn't say. Okay, so you're complete your account 98%. So we're going to say add a description. So apparently it's telling me I need to add a description. So it will usually pop up Pinterest. And I didn't put anything on this because this is excuse me, this is really for a shoot that I'm going to be doing. I don't know when, now that I had this issue with being sick, it's been all over the place. But I would normally add a description to this and I don't. So we'll go back to that. Let me get out of here. Sorry, it's not letting me go up to the top. Let me get onto here. All right, let me go back to share. Sorry, I can't see the top of my page because of the Zoom is at the top of the page. I don't know how to move it to get to the tabs that are behind it. Anyway, and this is not where I want to be, so that doesn't help at all. Let me stop sharing. Oh, let me see. Tailwind. We're going to share again. Good thing this is not something I'm putting on YouTube. All right, let's go back here. All right, so that's how you would complete it. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. The first thing that you do the next time you go into Tailwind is to go and complete everything that's in there. If it says complete your account and that you're anything under 95%, you should absolutely complete it ASAP. So let me tell you, I'm going to come back here. Let me tell you why the 49 domain pins have increased since last week. Because I am blogging every week now. Remember, I was blogging, if you're part of Women Who Execute, which everybody in here is, I did a blogging live where I talked to you about how I absolutely hate blogging and how I went from doing it once a month to doing it weekly. And it has given me so much content and so much more eyeballs on my website. It's been incredible. Yes, Emma, we talked about that too. You definitely complete those boards. That's almost more important than adding pins on Tailwind, because if you don't complete that board, Tailwind's not helping you to the completest, to the best, because they know that your Pinterest board is incomplete and not going to be showing people stuff, because Pinterest doesn't like incomplete boards. So, or pin names or whatever it is. So whatever they say, do it for sure. Anyway, so yeah, the 49 domain pins it increased is because I started doing it once a week, and it takes a good, and so I'm blogging and then I'm also tailwinding those blogs, right? So it has helped, and it does take a month or two. But as I've always said, I highly, highly, highly think that you guys should definitely blog once a week, even if you don't want to. Okay, so that's the weekly summary. Let me get back over here. That's the weekly summary. I'm not going to go into tribes today. We'll do that another day because not everyone has paid Tailwind, and you need paid Tailwind, I believe, to do tribes. We'll do it another day. Let's look at some insights. So profile performance. So I have 396 followers, 6,050 pins, 14,092 repins, and 25 comments. And that's from February to March. That's in 1 week. So that's good. But as you can see over here, the daily follower growth has dropped by 2. So I lost 2 people that were following my Pinterest board March 5th. Ouch. 2 people's not going to kill me. Followers aren't as important as repins, but Pinterest has come out and said that they are starting to place an emphasis on followers as well, because they feel like people that have a lot of followers automatically have good content, or they wouldn't have followers. And so that's now being figured into their formula of figuring out what pins to send out. So keep that in mind. You'll want to take your Pinterest board and post it on Facebook. Take your Pinterest board, talk about it on Instagram, Twitter, in Instagram stories, talk about it. If you add a new board, make it an announcement on Instagram and on your Facebook page, because then you'll get people and drive people there, which I think would be helpful. Okay, so this is the virality score, and a virality score is how much your pins are being repinned across my profile. So virality equals the total repins divided by the total pins overall. So in other words, I have a lot of repins, I'm not just pinning stuff, people are using those pins and repinning them to their boards. So that's really good. I'm surprised. I didn't realize it was that good, actually. Engagement score. So engagement score is total repins divided by total pins. So it's the same sort of thing, but it's also divided by followers. So the engagement score is a measure of your audience's engagement with your pins, giving you insight into how much interaction your pins are receiving on a per follower basis. Wow, that's a mouthful, and I'm super happy that it's good, but at this point, I'm not sure how, except that I'm talking about my Pinterest paid board to all my brides all the time. If a bride calls me and says something about her husband's suit, I'm going to forward that board to her. So here's another thing. When a bride hires me, part of my onboarding process is an email that automatically gets sent out by my system that welcomes them to being a JVP bride, and to my private Facebook group for my brides, and my Pinterest board for inspiration and answering questions and advice and everything. I have everything on that board to help them plan their wedding. And if you haven't started a board, maybe you want to start a board of your own and you can pin some of my pins. So I have that in a letter that goes out, and that has started really increasing my followers as well. So my engagement rate looks low. That's percentage of pins with at least one repin. So engagement rate is measured by counting how many of your pins have at least one repin versus no repins. So I pin a lot because I'm trying to get a lot of information out there. And right now, not everything's getting repinned. And I'm okay with that right now. But if you look down right here, the 20%, it was like 5%. Now it says a new 30-day high down here on the bottom. And the reason for that is because I just keep pinning, and people are starting to find me. And when they find me, they're liking it and they are pinning it or pinning it to their board or following me, which is even better. So that's important as well. Okay, so board insights. And again, we're in insights, okay? So this is a lot. If you look to the left, you have the board, okay? And the board shows save the dates. This is engagement pictures sent out to save the wedding date before wedding invitation is sent out. It's typically, depending on where your wedding is, 3 to 6 months. If people have to travel, it's 6 months. If people aren't traveling very much, then it may be 3 months. Somewhere in there is pretty typical. So the engagement score for that board is 77.38%. It makes me want to do a lot more save the date stuff, but I have to be thoughtful in that I want to grow all my boards, right? So I definitely put in save the date information, but I am also cognizant that I don't want to ever focus on just one board. I want to grow my whole Pinterest, right? Then we have wedding cake and dessert bars. That's something I did a big push on, and it's showing in my numbers, up 3 from the last 7 days because up 3 the last 7 days for pins, and followers up 15. So it's, my brides were asking about cakes. So because they were asking about cakes and I was telling them to go to my board, I wanted to make sure I had a bunch of fresh information. So I have been pinning more to the wedding cake and dessert board. So that's why that's gone. And I'm excited because this wasn't on here last month. So it's grown. Honeymoon information, what to wear for photos was when I was a family photographer. And I am leaving it on there because it's doing well. Why not, right? I'm not deleting anything. That has good rankings, I'm not deleting. You can, again, as we've talked about it before, you can archive it, which saves the information and saves your information. If you make it secret, you lose all of your board insights, you lose all of the analytics from that board. So I would archive versus secret as a heads up. Engagements and elopements, etc. So this is kind of cool. I love this, and I do look at this a lot, actually. And again, this is just the last 7 days. Pin inspector. This is something else that I like to do because I want to see which pins in particular are doing well. Does anybody know why I want to see what pins are doing well? You're doing well, Emma. You're doing a great job. Yes, you know you have things to do, but you're doing a fantastic job. I'm really excited. Okay. So I'm so sorry. We've already been to the pin inspector, and this is what we had already looked at that. I forgot that we had come in here. So don't worry about it. But basically, you can see here what does well and what did well for the last 7 days for me, if I can come up on it. See, in just 3 months, there's nothing the same on there. Anyway, we'll not worry about that. Okay, publishing. Let's go into scheduled pins. I have 851 scheduled pins. How fun. So because I have a lot of pins, there's a couple things I'm going to show you here, and then I'm going to jump off. So one thing I'm going to show you is this little thing right here, failed pins. We're going to talk about that. And I'm going to show you my schedule. So my schedule right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14 each day that go out. And for right now, I'm going to leave it at 14. You can load it up if you want to. I feel like 14 kind of gets through the day really well. And let me show you where that is, because a lot of people don't know. So if you come down here and you look at your schedule, it's the little calendar icon. If you click on that, and we did this with Emma. Okay, you know what? I'm going to add some more. Let's just add some more. So right now it's telling me, because I have the paid version, it's telling me to add this one because it says add suggested time slot. The pins often receive high engagement at this time. Well, guess what? I want engagement. So I'm going to click. I'm going to click on that engagement. I'm going to click on that one, and I'm going to click on that one. So I'm going to click on all the green dotted white boxes, because I want to make sure that I am pinning at a high time. These are the loop pins, and loop pins go out at a certain frequency that you have set up or that they say is the most effective. And you can't change them from here. You'd have to go into the scheduling loop. This lets you reschedule what those are and when they go out. Excuse me, my dog. You can probably hear him snoring in him or her. Yeah, it's Reese's. Okay, we'll go here. We'll go here. La, 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 la. Let's pin real quick. This is super fun. I love when they tell me what to do, because they know my analytics. They know when people are reading my pins. They know when people are popping by my board, and they're telling me specifically when I should be posting stuff. So, hey, of course. And if you'll notice, mine is heavy on Sunday. The reason why it's heavy on Sunday is that's when brides are planning a wedding. So they're typically planning on Saturdays and Sundays and evenings. So that's what it is. So now we'll go ahead and go back to my scheduled pins. Now I don't have to go back to the left side over there. I can just click on scheduled pins, which is helpful. And I still have 851, but instead of being spread across, I think it was 7 pages maybe, it's now 5. Whatever it was, it's, oh, no, not yet. Hold on a second. It has to, so let me just get back here. Sorry. So it hasn't filled up yet with all the pins. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 34. Yeah. So it takes a bit for it to go from scheduling to actually updating the pins. But what you want to do is click on the 3 dots over here, and you're going to, actually, let's start here by shuffling the cube. Any pins that I want pinned on a specific day, I will lock down to pin on a specific day. Instagram automatically does that and automatically posts on a certain day. So I don't have to worry about that. So those are the ones that have to be on a specific day, right? But I love to shuffle all the time because I'm adding content all the time. And I like it to be mixed up. Like we were talking about having 4 of the same pins. I don't want that. So let me show you as an example. Let's see if I have any at the end that haven't been shuffled yet. So come down to the bottom. Yeah, see, I got 2 right here back to back that are the same because I load them up at the same time because I know that I'm always shuffling, so I don't worry about it. I'll just pin to however many boards make sense, and I know I'm always shuffling it. So I say shuffle Q. Any locked pins will not be effective, and smart loops will not be effective. So only unlocked pins will shuffle. That's awesome. So I'll say yes, shuffle my Q, and it shuffles, and everything's different because the puppy one was up here and now it's not. So that works out really well. And I'm not sure why my schedule didn't change. Let's go back in here. It's a little silly. Oh, you know what? Oh my gosh, I probably didn't save. So irritating. And I want to show you this, so forgive me. I'm going to go through and add these. In fact, what's the next, what's today? Today is Thursday. So let me go to Thursday so I can add these and have it add. Now, is there a place to save? I don't know why that didn't save. That's so wild. I've never had that done before. Huh. That might be something I need to check on because I'm not sure why it didn't update. It kind of always updates, so this is strange. But let's go back and see. Maybe it takes a day. Maybe it takes an hour. I don't know. I've always done it and it's always worked. So either, oh no, there it goes. Do you see all the openings? Okay, so it does take a little bit. Cool, not a problem. So in order to fill in those slots, because otherwise they'll just remain blank, you're going to click on the 3 dots. You're going to say fill in time slot. Now be very careful, you guys, because if you click on empty queue, all 850 pins will leave my queue and I will cry like a lot. That's bad. So, and it's real close. I'm sure they'll have like a confirmation, but just be real careful with that, because that would be a nightmare. We're going to fill in the time slots. Again, it doesn't move anything locked and it doesn't move anything that is on the loop. So let's see, on the smart loop. Yay! So now I have more pins each day, which is what I've been meaning to do, but I didn't want to do it until I did this with you. Okay, last thing. I've been on here a long time, so sorry. Last thing is we are going to go ahead and do these failed pins. Now, if you've ever had an occasion, and I know you have because we worked on our Pinterest boards. Now, you may not have been on Tailwind then, but I also had worked on my Pinterest boards. And so I've changed the names to make more sense, be more descriptive, all those things that we learned in the Pinterest challenge. And so because of that, I already had things in Tailwind that were ready to pin. So the failed pins are things that have names of boards that aren't those boards anymore. So like engagements and proposals, that's not what it is. So I just clicked on that button. It showed me all the 28 failed pins. So I can come here and do engagement and elopement. It's a different board. And then I say re-queue. And it goes back. And it is a little bit of a pain, but that's okay. We're going to go back into failed pins. We're going to click. And this may not even ever happen to you unless you change board names, but I just want to make sure you know why it does it, because at first I was like, well, this is a pain. Why is it not, working? And this was helpful to get this taken care of. Yeah, so now it's down to 26. So that's something I have to do. I do a little bit of cleanup when I do a bunch of pinning. I then shuffle my queue. And I do all of the failed pins. And again, I do this about once a week for 30 minutes. Or if I get a bug up my butt, I just go in there and actually, I don't go in there. Let me show you what I do. This is fun. Okay. We're going to go into the website. I'm going to look up wedding themes, wedding colors, wedding color options. Okay. So now, first of all, you have to have loaded. Right up here, you see the little Tailwind here? Tailwind has access to my browser because I added the Tailwind extension to my browser. And I did that because when I come here for something that's cool, 15 color combos you've never seen by the knot. This is a website that I pin all the time from because everyone loves the knot, right? So yeah, so here's 15 wedding combinations you've never seen. So I want to pin this in Tailwind, not just on Pinterest, which of course I have that extension. I want to pin it in Tailwind. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to click this. I'm going to click this. Those don't kind of show what I'm looking for. And I'm going to click this. Now what I do is, yeah, so I've got 3 clicked. I'm going to say go to schedule and I click it. Hello, Susan. All right, so I have 2 or 3 that are similar, right? But they, that's okay. I don't care because I think it's good information. And they have different words on here. Try one of these fresh wedding color. And this is something that the knot does on their pictures. And how do you think that we're getting this pin information here? This description's coming from what they named the image. Super important. When you create a blog, name the image a description of what's going on in the image or what they're going to read about, right? So this says, try one of these fresh wedding color combinations for a style that's all yours. Wedding planning, whoops, wedding colors, wedding goals, right? And I like to hashtag those because if it's the same article, it's probably going to be the same on all of these and I don't have to do a lot of work. I'm going to pin it to, and I'm going to pin it, if you type it in up here, it goes on to all of them. So I'm going to put themes, wedding themes and colors, which is great. I'm going to also add wedding decor on all, whoops, themes. I'm going to add decor, wedding decor to this because I think that would be helpful for people. Even though the article is about wedding colors, it shows people how to decorate a little bit, and brides in particular look mostly at the pictures. And if they like a picture, then they want to know how to do it, right? So I don't worry so much about that. I'm going to also pin it to inspiration. Now, if in the wedding inspiration, if in the article, it talked about, it had a picture of like, just see this floral bouquet. If it was just one floral bouquet, then I would also put wedding, I would come down here and I would put wedding flowers, right? It's not, so I'm not going to, but you can add to each, oh, whoops. You can add to each board. Hold on. Oh, goodness. You can add to, sorry about that. You can add a one board to one of the pictures and not all of them, right? And then instead of scheduling each one, because it's the same article, I'm just going to say schedule all. And now, once that's done, close. I'm back to the pins, right? And if I just here to refresh the page and I click on number 5, because we've got 862. So I got to go to the last one, right? And we go down here to the last ones. And I have these pinned to a bunch of boards, right? Again, we don't want to have someone come to our Pinterest board and see 8 pins on our board. That's like not pretty. So we're going to, of course, as soon as you're done pinning, the last thing you do before you leave Tailwind, period, end of discussion, is to shuffle my queue. Shuffle away. And again, that means that if you pin something that's date oriented for Halloween or for whatever, you want to lock that pin down. How do you lock the pin down? You go right here and click this lock. Now it's locked and it will not get shuffled. I do not want it locked, so I just unlocked it. Yay! So fun. So that's just a little bit about Tailwind. If you have any more questions, definitely put them in our group and I will talk about them on the next live. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate you coming and joining, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.